Once upon a time, in a peaceful meadow filled with colorful flowers, tall green grass, and a sparkling blue river, there lived a little rabbit named Riley. Riley was not an ordinary rabbit. He was incredibly curious and always wanted to know more about the world beyond the meadow. Every day, Riley would hop around, sniffing the air and looking at the sky, wondering what lay beyond the hills in the distance. What could be out there? He thought, his little nose twitching with excitement. One bright and sunny morning, Riley decided he couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to explore and see the wonders beyond the meadow. So, he packed a small bag with his favorite carrot snacks and set off on his journey, saying goodbye to his family and friends. "Be careful, Riley," his mother warned. "And remember, don't go too far." As Riley hopped through the meadow, he soon reached the edge of the forest. He looked around and felt a little nervous, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. Riley took a deep breath and hopped into the forest, where the trees were tall, and the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting gentle shadows on the ground. Suddenly, Riley heard a rustling sound. He stopped and looked around, his heart beating fast. From behind a bush came a friendly turtle named Timmy. "Hello there, little rabbit," Timmy said in a slow, kind voice. "What brings you to the forest?" "I'm Riley, and I'm on an adventure. I want to see what lies beyond the meadow," Riley replied excitedly. Timmy chuckled. "Well, if you're heading that way, watch out for the river. It's deep, and it can be dangerous for a small rabbit like you." "Thank you, Timmy. I'll be careful," Riley promised and continued on his way. After a while, Riley reached the river. It was wide and flowed swiftly, with shiny pebbles glistening beneath the water. Riley knew he couldn't swim, but he really wanted to get to the other side. Just then, he saw a clever-looking fox named Fiona. "Hello, Riley. Are you trying to cross the river?" Fiona asked, smiling. "Yes, but I don't know how to swim," Riley replied, feeling a bit worried. Fiona thought for a moment. "I can help you," she said. "There's a fallen tree that makes a bridge across the river. Follow me." Riley happily followed Fiona to the fallen tree, and carefully, he hopped across it, reaching the other side safely. "Thank you, Fiona," he said with a big smile. Now on the other side of the river, Riley continued his journey until he came to a field filled with tall, yellow flowers. They were the biggest flowers he had ever seen. He hopped through them, feeling like he was in a forest of golden towers. Suddenly, Riley heard a buzzing sound. It was Bella the bee, flying from flower to flower, collecting nectar. Bella noticed Riley and buzzed over to greet him. "Hello, little rabbit. You look like you're far from home." Riley nodded. "I'm on an adventure to see the world beyond the meadow." "Well," said Bella, "the world is a big place, full of surprises and friends. But it's also important to remember the way back home." Riley thanked Bella and continued his journey, hopping happily. He saw so many wonderful things, a family of deer grazing peacefully, colorful birds singing in the trees, and even a little squirrel collecting acorns for winter. Finally, as the sun began to set, Riley felt a little tired and missed his home. He looked around and realized he was far from the meadow. The forest looked different in the evening shadows, and Riley began to feel scared. Just then, he remembered the kind friends he met along the way and decided to ask for help. He hopped back to the river and found Fiona, who guided him across the fallen tree again. When he reached the forest edge, Timmy the turtle was still there, slowly munching on some leaves. "Timmy," Riley said, "I think I'm ready to go home. I had a wonderful adventure, but I miss my family." Timmy nodded wisely. "The best part of any adventure, little rabbit, is coming home to share your stories." With Timmy's help, Riley found his way back to the meadow just as the moon was rising. His family and friends were there, waiting for him, relieved and happy to see him safe. Riley told them all about his journey, the river, the golden flowers, and the kind friends he met. His family listened with wide eyes, proud of their little explorer. That night, as Riley lay in his cozy bed, he thought about his adventure. He was glad he had gone beyond the meadow, and he knew he would explore again someday. But for now, he was happy to be home, surrounded by the love of his family and friends. And so, Riley the curious rabbit learned that the world was full of wonders, but there was no place quite like home. The end.